Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, check this out. I want you guys to take a step back from the charts and look at this. This is really interesting involving XRP. This is another reason why I like XRP so much, is because there's so much potential when it comes to central banks and things of that sort. And what we know, right, is the central banks want to create a new CBDC system, right? But how do they push that system when nobody wants it? Well, they need some type of event, right? Well, why did they sue Ripple? Well, perhaps maybe for a pay to play, right? Just like how they sued Apple, like they sued Amazon, they sued Tesla. Basically, the government or the mafia comes in and says, "Hey, if you want to be a dominant figure in this space, you're going to have to pay us, right, for protection." Kind of like the Sopranos, right? You know how they come out and you know, pay up and we'll protect you and we'll allow you to do your business, pay to play, right? Not saying that's going to happen, but at the end of the day, people don't want the CBDC system, right? Because, it's all centralized. But what if there's a new type of technology that can sort of bridge all the world's currencies? Because that's another thing. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. For me, I like XRP because of the chart. The chart speaks to me saying this is very bullish. But if you dive into the fundamentals and sort of the conspiracy side, it just adds another layer for me of conviction for where XRP is going. Now, I think based off all the information I have, that XRP is, and really the XRP ledger is the number one contender for being a neutral bridge currency for all the world's money. Now, that seems extremely far fetched and unbelievably ridiculous, right? As you could say. But think about the lawsuit, think about pay to play. Think about the lawsuit being sort of a resume, right? Or a job interview, or basically a vetting process, right? If Ripple is to assume the role, then what do you think needs to happen? They need to vet them. So I think that's what this lawsuit was about. But before I get into that, it's going to be really crazy. But before I get into that, listen to this real quick.
Tells you what you really need to know. Money is simply a network of bank ledgers. They want to consolidate and centralize the ledgers. The solution is a decentralized ledger. Yes. And in fact,
And that's exactly true. They want to centralize everything, right? The deep state, the central banks, they want to push us into this new CBDC system. But they need some type of event, maybe a black swan, some type of cyber attack, a financial system hit, the banking system to bring us into this CBD system, right? But the people don't want that. So I think the other side is going to come out and say, well, what about gold? What about blockchain? What about decentralization, right? Because we need to live in a world where banks can exist, but also accountability and decentralization exist. But at the end of the day, they just want to monopolize the world. That's why we have all these problems, right? It's not Joe Biden, it's not CNN, it's not Fox News, it's not the politicians. No, they're all puppets. You know who runs the world? The central banks. They run the planet. They control everything, right? But there is another side who is rebelling, right, against it, and we don't want that. So there's going to be some sort of middle ground met here, and I think a lot of that has to do with the new financial system. And I believe XRP can be a major part of that. Doesn't mean it's going to take over all everything. I'm not saying it's going to be the world reserve currency, but if it can just take 1% of liquidity and transactions and bridging currencies, it'll be an amazing success, right? And then also have this lawsuit, and it looks like they're going to win. XRP is not a security; it's the only cryptocurrency on the planet that is, designated not a security, right? So where do you think all of this goes, right? And then it begs the question: well, why did they get sued in the first place? Keep listening.
the XRP ledger, because the XRP ledger is also serving as a decentralized exchange for the world, for which all of these particular networks can plug into. Money is simply a network of bank ledgers. They want to consolidate and centralize the ledgers. The solution is a decentralized ledger. Yes. And in fact, the XRP ledger, because the XRP ledger is also serving as a decentralized exchange for the world, for which all of these particular networks can plug into to get the best market built using XRP as a bridge where applicable. This is where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we're going. And we can't see the real motion in this market until we have stable coins and CBDCs and other tokenized real world assets, because that's what I believe is so important about stablecoin legislation. It's not just for dollar stablecoins. It will be tokenization for all of the traditional markets, commodities, stocks, bonds, derivatives. You get it, right? So that's why we need that, because once we have that, you'll be able to have these digital tokenized vehicles to move all this value around. And here we have a new theory here, which I don't know how new it is, because I think this is exactly what's been going on. You guys know I have referred to it as a pay-to-play.
Yeah, okay, now listen to this. This is where it gets even more interesting. Going back to the pay-to-play theory. This is all theory. This is just speculation, right? Just remember, everything I'm saying is just speculation. I'm just speculating. I don't know for sure, but it's interesting. It's an interesting thought experience, because I've been looking at Ripple XRP theories for years now, and but more to that, there's a lot of facts and interesting things that sort of back up some of these theories. Not all of them, but some of them are quite interesting, and makes your eyebrows sort of raise up and think like, wow, I never thought about that. Especially when you look at the board members of Ripple, you look at, the World Economic Forum, and I know that's deep state stuff, right? And that's the last thing we want. But if we were to move forward, there has to be some middle ground. And if we let the CBDC system take over, then it's going to be a complete tyrannical central bank system, right? We need a decentralized ledger that bridges different currencies from different parts of the world together. For example, if I have dollars and you have the Japanese yen, and we're exchanging trade, and I don't want to hold the yen, then we can use XRP as that neutral bridge currency, right? So it's basically bridging different currencies, and that's what it was designed to do. I mean, if you talk to David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse, I mean, they even said, look, we're not here just to be a little speck on the wall. If we're here to put a dent in the universe. And even Brad Garlinghouse said, look, this market is pushing towards $10 trillion in the not too distant future. And then he was just recently saying 20 trillion. So he upped it by another 10 trillion. Doesn't really mean anything, right? They're just speculators like everybody else. But here's the thing. When you look at the company Ripple, who are they on stage with? Who are they visiting with? If you look at Brad Garlinghouse and all the board members, follow where they go. They are talking to some pretty high level people, right? I mean, if you go to Davos, right, they were sitting around the table with some of these extremely powerful people. So it makes you wonder what's going on there, right? This is all speculation, of course. But here's the thing. I'm not investing in XRP because some wild speculation. That's just gambling. I'm investing in XRP because I believe that it's a really good blockchain backed up by a really good company that's doing real honorable work and partnering and with great people. But most importantly is what the chart is telling me. The chart is telling me it is the biggest base in crypto history. I put out a video this morning. Highly recommend you watch it. When I do the thumbnail, if it's black or blue or an extreme color, that means it's a highly important, well thought out video, right? And I recommend you taking a look at that. So But let's continue on. Um, Digital Asset Investor says SEC XRP payment theory plot twist. Who says Ripple has to sell to pay the SEC fine? Wasn't this always about getting their dirty hands on some of that escrow, right? Because and then people say, well, why do you like XRP when this and this and that? Well, here's the thing: there can only be a maximum amount of tokens of 100 billion. So far, there's 50 plus billion in circulation. Ripple owns a fraction of that, but the rest of that money is in escrow. So it's not like they can go and sell it or dump it, right? And there's another theory out there, which is pre-allocation, right? A lot of that escrow that people talk crap about is a business decision. It was designed for that reason, for either pre-allocation, right? So let's say once everybody has their ducks in a row, the regulation, the lawsuit, this and this and that, there can be a moment in time where that supply, that escrow supply, can be distributed to certain entities that already pre-allocated to, right? And then just because they get those the tokens doesn't mean they can just dump it, right? There are certain stipulations on that escrow as well. But listen to this real quick.
You've heard me refer to the SEC lawsuit as pay to play or an audit or vetting process. We know the same thing happened to Microsoft. They were sued by the SEC. The SEC sued Tesla. The SEC sued Amazon. And I have said it multiple times, and going by who the SEC sues, you could almost use them as a great barometer for what to invest in, not financial advice.
Exactly. So the SEC sued Amazon, Tesla. Why? Because they're basically like, look, we're the mafia, right? And if you're gonna play and you're gonna be a dominant figure in this space, then you gotta pay me first, and then we're gonna allow you to be, a leader in the space. And here's the big thing right here. Here it is. Ready? Why did they sue Ripple? Why didn't they sue Cardano? Why didn't they sue Litecoin? Why didn't they sue Stellar, XLM? Why didn't they sue Bitcoin, Ethereum? They can't, right? They chose Ripple XRP for a couple reasons. Number one, Ripple XRP is the number one USA coin on the planet, right? Bitcoin is not American. It's international. Ethereum is not American. It's Vitalik. I don't know what Vitalik is. Is he Russian? I'm not sure what he is. But I think he's Russian. But yeah, it's not American, right? They're not based in the United States. And then you move down the list, stable coins, that's a different category. But then you get to XRP. XRP is the number one USA coin, right? And then also they have a company, Ripple, that facilitates the business behind XRP. They're sort of the backbone of XRP. They are the engine to drive it. And you can say, well, if that's the case, how come the price hasn't done anything for so long? Well, we'll talk about that too. But mainly, the price is doing exactly what the price needs to do in order to have the biggest explosion we've ever seen, in my opinion, not financial advice. You can't just go up, 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 right? Look what happened to Chainlink when it continued to go up, 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 right? It collapsed. Not saying that's going to happen with XRP, but you need a foundation, right? And then also, the market is manipulated, and people who are positioning themselves are not ready, right? It's all about when they're ready. When they're ready, that's when they, quote unquote, flip the switch, right? Some people say it'll be overnight. Some people say this. Some people say that. Look, that's all speculation. I'm in the business of what does the chart tell me? What is the facts in the charts? And for that, go watch the video. But for this, check this out.
But nevertheless, they're suing Ripple. So I see good things ahead is what I'm seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt about that. Let's listen to what Molly Elmore says right here.
All right, a couple things. One, Gary Gensler has done us a service by having those MIT courses publicly available. Yeah. And in one of those courses, he said that if you want to move in to the banking world, the legacy banking system, the monopoly, you got to like pay up, like in the mob, you've got to, pay the mob down of the other family if you want to enter into a new market. And so this is what the fine looks like to me, is they've conceded that XRP is going to be used, and they're like, we want our kickback, like in an organized crime. Now, this will be the interesting thing that people haven't really discussed. Like, all right, so I don't think Ripple's going to have to pay $2 billion because they have very good lawyers that will hopefully negotiate on their behalf. Let's even say they had to pay $1 billion fine.
Right.
What do you think they're going to pay that fine in?
XRP.
Right, so the cartel's like, we wanted 50% of the XRP in the beginning. If you had just given us half like we asked, then we wouldn't have given you a hard time. But you didn't really want to be controlled by the mob, so you said no. But now, at the end of it, we're still going to take our cut if you would like us to.
See, isn't that insane right there? But I kind of disagree with that. I think, Ripple could have paid up, but I don't think that was the point. I think they wanted to be sued because, look, who has been fighting for regulation more than any other crypto project? Ripple. So if Ripple was doing anything dirty behind the scenes, why would they want to be regulated? They wouldn't want that. They would want the wild, wild west, right? I mean, you have all these crypto coins out there, meme coins, this, that, all this stuff. A lot of them don't want regulations because they're okay with the wild, wild west, right? But Ripple is a legitimate company doing legitimate business with people all around the world. They want regulation to expand business to institutions and things like that, right? So if they were doing anything bad, why would they want this regulation? So they didn't get the regulation. So what happened? The SEC sued them. That's exactly what Ripple wanted. Ripple loves the fact that they got sued. They hate the fact that they had to spend a quarter, $200 million plus. Do you honestly think Ripple paid $200 million for nothing? No. I mean, they're all in. They are all in. So they paid the $200 million in legal fees because they are very confident that they can win. They could have just took a settlement deal. They could have just folded and paid the fine and left. But they wanted to go the distance. Why? Because they want regulation. So what did the judge say? The judge last summer in July said XRP is not a security. So basically Ripple had to pay $200+ million for the judge to finally come out and say, I rule. It is the law of the land that XRP in itself is not a security. XRP is the only coin that is not a security that's designated by the law. Okay? So they wanted that. Ripple wanted them to get sued. They wanted to be sued. Okay? So now we're at the end of the lawsuit. And here's the thing. Don't think your coin won't be gone after either. Right? I mean, there's so many. Ripple is at the very end of their legal battle. But other coins, right, like maybe Ethereum, right, even exchanges like Coinbase, they have only just begun. They have only just begun, right? I was talking to a friend. I said, it'd be funny. You know how XRP and Ripple got sued and then Coinbase delisted XRP? Well, guess what? If I'm freaking Ripple, I'd be like, well, Coinbase, you're getting sued by the SEC. So I'm going to delist my coin off your exchange until you figure it out. Can you imagine if Ethereum and all these coins on Coinbase started delisting them? It'd be suicide, of course, but delisting themselves off of Coinbase. And Coinbase would be like, what are you guys doing? Well, you did it to XRP. What goes around comes around, right? Obviously joking, that would be a bad idea. But to the point here is the SEC sued Ripple because Ripple wanted them to, but also the entire lawsuit was a vetting process, right? Think of it like if Ripple is going to assume the role of a decentralized ledger for a bridge currency for some, I won't say all of the world's money, some of the world's money, right? The exchanges everybody does, the Forex market is a $5 trillion a day market, right? The derivatives market is trillions of dollars. The XRP ledger is designed to do that stuff. So if it can just get 1%, even 0.5%, it would put XRP well over $1 trillion market cap. So, and then you complement that with what Ripple's doing. So if Ripple is going to assume this role, then they need to be vetted. So how do you vet them? Right? Because here's the thing, everybody has to agree, right? That's the thing. Everybody has to agree that it's Ripple, right? They have to agree that, this country, all these countries have to agree for Ripple to be that entity. So how do you get them all to agree? The lawsuit. They got vetted, right? So now it's undeniably, for sure that Ripple is the cleanest blockchain company in the world. Don't you think the SEC is looking at all their finances, all their business dealings? The government is tearing Ripple up and down. It's like the FBI raiding Ripple's house and tearing out the sofa and cutting open the pillows and looking in the stuffing, right? They're looking behind the paintings on the wall. They're looking in the fireplace. They are looking at Ripple with a magnifying glass because the SEC wants to win. Basically, it's not about because Ripple did anything bad or because, it's about protecting investors. No, it's about SEC, the mafia getting paid, getting their cut, pay to play, right? So I believe this is all, remember, everything I'm saying is speculation. So don't get it twisted, right? This is just speculating. It's all it is. And that's okay. As an investor, you're allowed to do that. Doesn't mean it's real, even though I believe it is, in my opinion, at least some of it, right? So moving forward, if countries are to agree that we need a neutral bridge currency, because all the countries don't trust each other, right? This central bank might not trust this central bank might not trust this central bank, so they need a bridge, right? So the countries have to agree upon that bridge. How do they do that? By vetting the living hell, top to bottom, up and down, all around, unbelievably vetting the heck out of them, right? And then once it's complete, the lawsuit is over, guess what? Ripple basically can now have the potential to assume role of something much, much bigger. Maybe in the derivatives market, maybe in the Forex market, right? Maybe in the SWIFT system. Maybe, there's a lot of different possibilities, right? I mean, obviously now it's cross-border payments, but that in itself is a major thing, right? Because everybody does payments. Ripple XRP is the number one payment platform in blockchain in history, right? Now you could argue it's Bitcoin and that, but Bitcoin is designed to be a store of value. It's not designed to do that, right? And so we have a potential gold mine here, right? And the price isn't doing anything. Well, a lot of it was because of lawsuit. A lot of it because it's being suppressed. A lot of it is because they're not ready yet, right? But I think we are very, very close. So continue moving forward. Keep listening.
Get out of the way and let you do your thing.
And there's where we've been seeing it. And
Controlled by the mob, so you said no. But now at the end of it, we're still going to take our cut if you would like us to get out of the way and let you do your thing.
And there's where we've been seeing it. And, for those of you that are in the DPMG, I used to do a weekly show with Molly Elmore, and she's super fantastic. She's really brilliant. And I think this is so spot on. Don't forget about Jed McCaleb's taco stand wallet. Who bought all of that? Did the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury buy it all? And who will get the $1 billion fine or whatever that fine is if they pay it in XRP? The U.S. government. That's who. Meanwhile, here's another piece to this amazing threads that Ashley Prosper has been putting out. This time it's Africa and some other countries here. And I'll just leave this here and you can look at it on our profile. I know we don't have a lot of time to look into this video today, but I encourage you to follow Ashley Prosper World to remind ourselves of just how much has gone on. And this is a clear reminder, 36 countries with ONAFRI, which used to be MFS Africa, if you remember, they rebranded. So 36 African nations.
So anyway, there you have it. Just real quick on the price, kind of looking at this potential fractal here. It's not perfect, but yeah, just kind of playing around with it. You can see it's looking pretty decent here. You could see this move here, back down to here. We could see this pump, back down, final pump, right? All the way back down, all the way back down. Then you kind of see a retracement, and then sideways. We're going to retracement, and potentially here going sideways. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents. It doesn't mean I agree with everything. There's so much more to it too. It's not just, I'm just talking on the surface. There's so many things. I highly recommend following Digital Perspectives and Digital Asset Investor, and just go to their videos, look at their most popular videos, and watch a couple of their videos, and you can start to see where a lot of these ideas are coming from. So anyways, we are at the, in my opinion, very close to something extraordinary, because if you look at the chart here, it's starting to, come alive. We are at the end of this, maybe this, at this reaccumulation phase. So you can see the striking similarities, right? We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, right? Rise, crash, reaccumulation. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. Then you get the blast off. Question is, do we get that blast off, right? So it looks like we are getting super, super close to something happening, right? Another way you can look at it is keep an eye on this 3-month quarter candle that's ending very soon. We have a potential breakout here on the 3-month candle, which would be interesting. It's a little subjective how you draw it, but essentially, this quarter or next, look at the apex here. We are getting incredibly close. So something's got to give. Either this thing is going to crash and burn, or it's going to spread its wings and fly. So there can always be a fake out and then a breakout, right? Similar to how this right in here, you could see this channel going up and you had that fake out. So we have a channel going up. You can always come down, have a big fake out before the big breakout. So, keep that in mind. But regardless of that, we're getting very close to the apex. I mean, that's all the room we have left, really, in this triangle. Right? And then, I could get into more of the chart, but just, real quick, this is another, I've shown this video before, so I just wanted to show it again, since we're talking about fundamental utility. I think it's a very interesting video. Check this out. It's a 2-minute clip.
Hold XRP because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
That right there, focusing on, one company, right, or focusing on that, and they chose Ripple. That's interesting, is it not?
Global initiative, and the governments of 32 countries put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030.
And that's another thing, the Sustainable Development Goals, the Cash Alliance, all these different, entities circling around government, right? And that's the thing, when you have a blockchain company, a crypto company that's always being mentioned by government, right? And even the World Bank, right? The World Bank put out this file, I guess you could say, and they listed XRP and XLM as stable coins, right? Now, when you say stable coins, people think stable at $1. No, that's not what that means. That's not what that means. Stable coins in the fact that when you transfer value, so the XRP price can be $200, $500, $1,000, or it could be 10 cents. The point is, its utility value is stable, meaning it only takes 3 seconds to settle a transaction. So if we are doing trade between two countries and, I owe you $7 million, I can't have the XRP price be going up and down by the time I send it, right? So obviously crypto is very volatile. So by the time I hit send, I send you $7 million, you get it and it settles within 3 seconds. So the price doesn't change all that much within that 3-second mark. So that's where they're saying stable coin. And that's why people call it, a stable coin, because it's stable in its true nature of it, what it's intended to do. If I send you $100, you're going to get $100. But if I send $100 in Bitcoin, 20 minutes later, you might only have $92. You see what I mean? Right? So because the price can fluctuate a lot within that 15 minutes of you getting that transaction. So that's the whole point. So continue going.
You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple, who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America. Ripple, who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve. Ripple, a former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division. Ripple, leading Australia's CBD.
I mean, just like there, just kind of makes your head spin. You can say, well, if all these countries and all these companies are partnered with Ripple, then how come the price isn't higher? And that's a legitimate argument. And for me, I think a lot of that has to do with this pay to play, this sort of assuming a role in where it needs to be, and a lot of it is they're not ready yet. Remember, the price is highly manipulated. Most of the price is controlled by high frequency trading, computers, and things like that. So when you have these big spikes up, they slam it down. A big spike up, they slam it down, right? So, and you say, well, then what's the point? Well, the point is I want to be ready for when it really does take off. And to me, when you look at the chart, like I've shown, looks to me, it's being stable in that 50, 60, 70 cent area in that accumulation, that reaccumulation range following its retracement. So, there's going to be a snap back, right? A lot of these companies use Ripple in their products. Doesn't mean they use necessarily XRP, but as Ripple grows, as the ledger grows, as more use cases, more utility, and the whole thing about it is also regulations, right? So, but yeah, there's a good a video out there that explains it better than me. I'll have to look it up, but continue going.
Effort, Ripple, who hired a former Treasury of the United States, Ripple, 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board, Ripple, 2.
And that's a kind of a cool thing too. Ripple, Rosie Rios, she's a former Secretary of Treasury. Like, how many blockchain cryptocurrencies do you know that has a former Secretary of Treasury on its board? I mean, come on. I mean, that's why I look at this. I look at Ripple and XRP as a legitimate business with adults, right? People go, oh, it's a banker coin, it's this, it's that. Well, that who has all the money? The banks, right? You know, Rosie Rios, her name is on trillions of dollars of currency all over the world. So, you know, she's on the board, right? What does that mean? That means it offers validation for what Ripple and XRP are doing, right? Just Google Rosie Rios, XRP, Ripple. And there's a lot of other people too. Former Chief White House advisor, right? He joined. Ripple welcomes Michael Warren.
Former Clinton and Obama advisors, former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany, former business director at Swift, former Swift board member, former CFO of PayPal, former head of the DTCC, former chief business officer at Uber, former VP of Amazon, and former SEC chair on their legal team, Ripple.
I mean, come on. I mean, look at all of these companies. Look at all of these businesses. If XRP is going to go to zero, and you know the lawsuit is going to destroy Ripple, then why did they pay $200 million? Why are all these people partners, right? But people don't care about that, right? When I show it, I showed this video and someone got upset that I showed it because, oh, this video is a couple years old. You know, they don't care about that. Why? Because price is the only thing that matters to people. It's the only thing that matters. You know, if I have, you know, a million reasons why XRP is destined to succeed, people will ignore all of those reasons. Why? Because nobody cares about that. It's all about the price. Price tells everybody everything, right? Take the biggest crap coin on the planet, right? The biggest crap coin on the planet. And the price goes up 5,000%. Now everybody all of a sudden cares. Now everybody's saying to the moon. Now everybody's saying, yes, okay, I get it, right? But before, nobody talked about it, right? Because it's all about the price. Now, when XRP eventually breaks out above its all-time high and goes berserk, then people are going to say, okay, yeah, now I believe it. But by then it would be already too late, right? You have to see, investing is interesting psychology because you want to buy it before the ultimate price explosion. But usually retail and the herd do it after the fact, right? Because there's not enough proof for them to buy in. But that's the thing, you know, that's why you have to do the research. I mean, just listening to this 2-minute video is interesting in itself. But even though I can share it, you know, most people will disregard it. Why? Because the price hasn't done anything, right? But what do we know about the price? XRP likes to move last. First of all, XRP had a lawsuit. It never got to succeed on a bull run, which was a blessing in disguise because it allowed it to go into a retracement, which then allowed it to go into reaccumulation, right? So, you know, whereas Bitcoin, you know, it goes on a bull run. It has the bear market. It goes on a bull run. It's expected. People expect it. With Ripple, what do people expect? For it to do nothing, right? So the more people expect Ripple XRP, I should say, to do nothing, that's when it does something. You know, the biggest moves in crypto history come by surprise, right? Most people expect if XRP pumps, it's going to dump. It pumps, it's going to dump. It pumps, it's going to dump, right? That's what they expect. Or they expect it to just go flat, right? So that's why they don't want to touch it. They don't want to invest it. But investing is, you know, more than, you know, waiting for the price. It's like Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors. He says, you know, the stock market is a device, and same thing with crypto. Blockchain, this new technology, this is a brand new sector. And it's not even, you know, 3 trillion, 5 trillion. It's still a baby. You know, this thing's going to go to 10, 20, 30, eventually $50 trillion at some point. And you have the number one USA blockchain on the planet, Ripple. You have the number one blockchain company that facilitates payments, Ripple, right? Forget about NFTs. Forget about this, meme coins. Forget about, all these AI things and this and that and that. Yeah, that's all great and it'll make a lot of money. But the point is, does grandma and grandpa know what that is? Like Chainlink is an oracle. Go to grandma and grandpa and say, Mom or Grandma, do you want to buy an oracle? She'll be looking at you like, what the hell are you talking about? But if you talk to her about payments, everybody on the planet knows payments. So it's got tremendous utility. It's got the number one utility thing in the world, which is payments. That is, everybody has payments. Not everybody has, layer 2, dApps, right? Decentralized applications on Ethereum and this and that and all these fancy words that nobody knows, right? Unless you understand crypto, which is not even 1% of the population, but everybody in the world understands payments, right? So investing is important prior to success, right? So we want to position ourselves before all of this happens. So we need information. Well, I just gave an ocean of information. Now, it's not financial advice and it is all speculation, right? Now, this video clip I'm sharing here is facts. These are legitimate facts of the board members, of the connections, of the partnerships, of the documents. Go to Google, type in World Bank, the World Bank, and then type in Ripple XRP. You're going to see that World Bank document. Well, keep listening here.
Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's High-Level Advisory Board on FinTech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Master Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website, Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
Exactly. People go, it doesn't do anything. It's boring. Look at the price. It's still a baby. Look at that. It's a baby. It was barely born. This is part of a bigger thing, I believe. I can't say for sure, but it's a baby. I mean, we are consolidating in a bullish, I'll go wick to wick, in a bullish pennant here. I mean, look at this. What do you think happens when we break out? I mean, if I did it from the pennant here and I come up to about there, I mean, really you're supposed to do it from the flagpole, but I'll be very conservative and I'll just put it right about, actually, let's even be more conservative and I'll put it down here. Right there, that's $13. So, I mean, look at, you have the people, the analysts, technical analysts, right, $10 to $12. But, yeah, and definitely profits will be taken. But here's the thing. What happens in the next 10 years, right? If Ripple succeeds in some of the derivatives, I'm not talking about all of the money, talking about percentages, right? I mean, look at all the connections Ripples have, right? Once the lawsuit is over with, once regulations are here, what do you think businesses are going to do? Right? Like, for example, if I'm a central bank, if I'm a business, if I'm a corporation, who do I want to deal with? Do I want to deal with a company that's already been sued by the SEC and came out victorious? Or do I want to go with a company that doesn't have the same track record, doesn't have the same connections, hasn't been fully regulated yet, right? You're going to go with the most vetted, most trusted company on the planet when it comes to blockchain, right? And the person in the center of that Well, the entity in the center is Ripple, and Ripple's native token is XRP. And XRP has the biggest base in crypto history. People don't like XRP because they call it a banker coin, they call it centralized, and they say the price does nothing. And those three things are complete bullcrap. First of all, and then they talk about the escrow, right? Oh, well, I don't like because Ripple holds all this XRP. But they don't really hold it. It's an escrow. For example, if I'm buying a house and it goes into escrow, it's not in my possession. It's not in the seller's possession. It's not in the buyer's possession. It's in the bank's possession. It's an escrow, right? The coins are an escrow. And there's contracts within those escrow. And by the way, who was the first entity to introduce DeFi? DeFi. Everybody talks about DeFi, DeFi. Oh my God, DeFi, DeFi. Who was the first? Ripple was the first company to introduce DeFi. The XRP ledger was the first to introduce DeFi, right? So, when talking about the infamous escrow, Ripple's escrow for XRP, I look at that as a strategic business decision based on contracts for pre-allocation for XRP. So when they're ready, quote unquote, when they're ready, right, and when everything's all settled up, the lawsuit and things like that, that's when they can go full force, right? And that's potentially when they can start, these contracts can start fulfilling themselves, right? Because let's say some bank is allotted this amount of XRP on the contract. Well, that means they're not trying to get it from the circulating supply. The circulating supply is what we buy on exchanges, what anybody can participate in. But there's a whole mountain of other XRP out there that is going to be potentially pre-allocated to other entities, right? Other central banks, other payment rails, right? So, when people say, "Oh, I don't like it because Ripple can just dump it all," they can't. They legally can't. And why would they? That would destroy their whole business model. Their whole business depends on the price of XRP going up. They want the market capitalization of XRP to go up, 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 not down, right? Ripple makes their money based off dollars, not XRP, right? So, we live in a very interesting time, and I believe, right, just like the fake news and the mainstream media, they paint this narrative, right, and the deep state is everywhere. The deep state is in crypto, and they painted the narrative, and I was one of them. I believed XRP was an evil banker coin. It was this, it was that. But here's the thing: I started digging and digging and digging, and the main, ask all the Bitcoin maxis like Anthony Pompliano, Max Kaiser, all the Bitcoin maxis right out there. Ask them about XRP. Ask them which coin you hate the most. They all say XRP. Why? Because it's the biggest threat. You attack those you fear the most, right? XRP is the biggest threat in their eyes because of the legitimacy of Ripple. Without Ripple, XRP would still survive, right? Like if Ripple went away, XRP is still there. It's not like they're dependent on each other, but they both feed off of each other for the future. So, and then, the other thing is, the price doesn't do anything. That's because it's in a correction. It's in a bear market. It's in a bullish pennant, right? I mean, you can see this pennant here, right? Look what happened when it got to the apex. It's a tiny one. Look how tiny it is. Then we broke out. Look how big this one is. Now we're in the same similar situation. We're at the end of the apex, right? Remember, XRP has only really had one bull run. So, the meme coins, they get the love, right? They get all the love from the retail push, right? Because it's all about momentum. It's all about hype, momentum, and bubbles. But XRP is based off utility and value, right? So that day will come. The point of it is you want to be positioned before that day comes. Okay, so check this out. So you go to Google, look at the World Bank documents. This is a real document. You click that. It's a PDF form. Check this out. I'll hit download and I'll open it up. Now check this out. Now if XRP Ripple's going anywhere, why would the World Bank talk about it? Right? Why would they even, if they're going to fail and if it's nothing, it's an S coin, it's nothing, then why even talk about it? Why not talk about a legit thing? Right? So the central bank digital currencies for cross-border payments. This was back in November of 2021. This is the real deal right here. This is the World Bank Group. So I'm going to go down to page 39. Let's go to 39. Okay. So, well, let me go up a little bit. Let's go up a little bit here to 31. I mean, you look at this diagram. You can screenshot it if you want. But it's basically just a diagram that shows, enhanced cross-border payments, public and private sector, new payment infrastructures, data and market practices, existing payment infrastructures, right? Regulatory, supervisory, and oversight. The use of cross-border CBDCs, right? Let's keep going down. It takes two to tango, right? You need the banks, but you also need, Ripple. And they say, well, why can't the central banks create their own sort of thing? Well, because then it wouldn't be a neutral bridge party. You have to be a neutral party, right? Because central banks are competing with other banks. So if a central bank created their own, then there's no point in using it, right? So changes in initiatives, cross-border payments, non-CBDC cross-border payment models, and this is what Ripple and XRP is. It's a non-CBDC cross-border payment model, right? So the private label of cryptocurrencies. Right, they talk about JPM coin, if it was going to be that, a settlement situation, right? And then check this out. Let's see. Right here, it says right here at the bottom, the derivatives market at the end of Q2 2018 was $595 trillion. So why is it talking about that? Because that is a problem. Everything is going to be tokenized. Think about it like that. We're talking about tokenizing real assets, tokenizing derivatives, tokenizing real estate. Everything's going to be on the blockchain. And what do you think is the best ledger to do that? Ripple, right? Bitcoin can't scale to those heights. Bitcoin is great. I look at Bitcoin as a 1950s Ferrari. You don't want to take it out and drive it every day. You put miles on it. You want to park it in your garage and keep it pristine, keep it nice, keep it locked up, right? Take it out once in a while. But Ripple XRP is like, an everyday car, right? It's a utility truck, right? It's designed to haul big things. Like think of it like an 18-wheeler, right? So it's talking about, and you could go to Google and download this document for yourself, and you can read everything about it. Maybe I'm wrong, but look at, it's talking about cross-border payment models, non-CBDC. There's a need out there for, derivatives, for payments, for things like that, right? So keep going down. Look at this. Now look at this part right here. Stable coins and cross-border payments. Now I highlighted it here. Basically, you can read this here. Stablecoin refers to a class of digital currencies that are relatively stable in terms of their price. Stablecoins offer instantaneous processing and security of payments, as many cryptocurrencies do, and yada, yada, yada. We know that, right? They also offer stability with respect to their parity against fiat currencies. So here we go. Two digital currencies that fall into this category are RippleNet's native digital currency, Ripple XRP, by the World Bank. They talked about it. They're not talking about anything else. All right. And Stellar's network native cryptocurrency, Stellar Lumen, XLM, both Ripple and Stellar enable faster and more efficient cross-border payments relative to correspondent banking. What? So think about that for a second. The World Bank just gave them praise. They basically just validated. Well, if it was a no good thing, why would they even talk about it? If it was a scam or if it was no good, right? The World Bank came out and said, right here, two digital currencies that fall into the category that they're talking about for stable coins and cross-border payments is XRP and XLM. Both coins enable faster and more efficient cross-border payments relative to correspondent banking. So basically they're saying XRP and XLM are better than banks, better than the SWIFT, the traditional system, right? So interesting, right? However, they differ in that the form aims at improving cross-border payments between international banks, where the later aims at providing low-cost cross-border payment financial services to end users and their unbanked population, right? And that's another thing. Crypto helps the unbanked, right? So people who don't use banks, crypto can really help them out. Ripple is a real-time gross settlement system, currency exchange, and remittance. That's another thing, the remittance, right? US-based technology. That's the thing. It's the number one USA coin. That's why they got sued. That's why they, you don't go for the third place guy. You don't go for the fifth place guy. You go for the number one guy. It's like, you watch the movies about prison, right? People in prison. The guy comes into prison. It's this, in a lot of different movies. And then the big guy comes up to him and he goes, hey, and then what does the little guy do? The little guy knocks out the biggest guy in prison. That way nobody can mess with him anymore, right? So think about Ripple in that way. So Ripple is a real-time, where was I at? Ripple enables multinational corporations to settle cross-border payments by transferring XRP through the Ripple network, resulting in on-demand liquidity. That's something we haven't talked about. ODL, that's important, right? Because what are we going through? We're going through a liquidity crisis, right? To me, Ripple XRP is the solution. On-demand liquidity. The three parts of Ripple ecosystem servers that the mainnet of the ledger. Clients, continues on. Ripple does not run proof of work, nor does it run proof of stake consensus, right? And those two things have problems. Instead, they rely on the Byzantine general problems, right? It's a different consensus protocol known as Ripple Gateway to validate account balances and transactions of the system. The Ripple settlement process involves the creation of a transaction that is signed by the account owner and submitted to the network. Badly formed transactions will be rejected immediately. Blah, 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 blah. The provisions include on the ledger. The Ripple network has many validating nodes and more today, right, which are used to validate and verify transactions for successful transactions to take place. So coming back up here, they must come to a consensus on the transaction while Ripple claims to be decentralized. The fact is that the 55 validator nodes all belong to Ripple, but that's true. But here's the thing. Most of them are, this is expected to change as third-party validators join the network. And this was back in the day. Now we have much more validator nodes, right? And by the way, even though Ripple owns them, doesn't mean it's centralized, right? You can't mess with it, right? It's all coded into the block. It's all coded in. So you cannot tamper with anything. And even if they tried to, it would be business suicide because everything's recorded publicly, right? So they wouldn't dare. And even that, there's third-party validators now. So, it's only going to grow from there. So as this happens, each of Ripple validator nodes will be removed for every 2 third-party nodes that join, right? So this is even better. Under this setup, Ripple will become de facto decentralized with time, right? Because they have to sort of have it be under their nodes, but then as it proves itself, as it becomes more and more and more, they can get rid of theirs and have third party and more decentralization. This is the World Bank talking about this. This is not JP Morgan. This is not the European Central. This is the World Bank. The world. The big planet we live on, the entire world. So anyway, this is just more validation. It's all about, you're an investor. You're trying to figure out, I have $100. Where am I going to put it? Well, I just heard that 2-minute video clip. I just seen the bank document. I see, XRP is cheap. It's basically the equivalent of Bitcoin being at $9,000, $7,000. Most coins are, they had a bull run, but XRP did not. XRP is still under its 2017 all-time high, 2018 all-time high, right? That would be like if Ethereum or if Bitcoin was under 20,000. So anyway, I can go on for a while, but any accepted type of currency or asset can be used to transact on the Ripple network, like cross-border payment, like you could put the dollar, you could put the Japanese yen, you could put the Mexican peso, and XRP can be that neutral bridge asset. We can go after derivatives. We can go after a lot of different things. Ripple transact using XRP, people say, well, why would people use XRP? Because it's better to use XRP than other things. Why? A lot of it has to do with cost and it being neutral, but also, let me read it again. Cross-border payments using Ripple transact using XRP. A digital currency works as a liquidity source whenever it is necessary because acting it as a bridge between two currencies. XRP, which is an open source blockchain, and it's a distributed ledger on the interface of peer-to-peer servers. It is supposedly capable of settling a payment within 4 seconds. And, it's actually 3 seconds, and handling 1,500 transactions every second. It's actually getting better the more nodes, right? Each transaction, it doesn't cost, 0.0000, like what is that, a thousandth of a penny, right? It requires a small fraction, right? Whereas like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, they all cost more. And every time they transact, that XRP gets destroyed, right? Meaning the total supply of XRP decreases over time. This is the World Bank talking about this. The World Bank is telling you, they are basically like a salesman. It's not like the World Bank is coming out saying, yes, XRP is a crypto, it does this and does this and does this. No, they're coming out and basically selling it. They're talking good about it. They're boasting about it. They're explaining how good it is. Doesn't that interest you? All the XRP haters out there, doesn't that interest you? Like, what? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I am. I don't know. But and this is just one thing. There's many other things. There's the World Economic Forum. There's the IMF. Oh my God, I haven't talked about that. That's the big guy, right? The International Monetary Fund. Brad Garlinghouse and the IMF, one of their guys was on stage talking about tokenizing and things like that. Just go to Google, type in, you got to do the research. Brad Garlinghouse and IMF on stage or something. And they're talking about it, right? See, I'm a chart guy. I look at charts. I don't do news and fundamentals and background stories and things like this type of research. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to do that today. And we're already over an hour and we're barely getting started. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's not my alley. My alley is facts with the charts. Now, I did talk a lot about the speculation, but I'm also talking about the facts of the backside because, I could talk about an XRP chart. People still don't really care. That's why I'm kind of moving in towards the fundamental aspect, right? Because people ask, well, why do you care about XRP other than the price? Well, this is why. This is some of the reason why, right? So anyway, World Bank basically saying the XRP decreases over time and the theory maintains its value. By contrast, Stellar XLM. Remember, if you don't like XRP, XLM's right there. Basically, Stellar enables individuals, end users, to trade money directly with each other across jurisdictions and using entrusted intermediaries to handle FX and funds transfer. Stellar is an open source, decentralized protocol for digital currency to fiat money transfers, which allows cross-border transactions between any pair of currencies. The Stellar protocol is supported by the Stellar Development Foundation. Blah 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 blah. Basically, just talking about it for a transaction to be processed. So, and you can see the Stellar can be traded to different currencies, which means that the preforming cross-border transaction using XLM is essentially using XLM as a bridge between two jurisdictions. So, this is all interesting to me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments here. Basically, at the end of the day, the outlook of cross-border payments, it's all about, reducing the friction in the banking system. If I send $1 million through the Swift wire system, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of time. There's insurances. There's things like that. I mean, think about how much money they spend in credit card fraud insurance. Think about how much money they spend in, all the payment rails and things like that. A lot of payments don't even make it, right? So the cost to send money is expensive, right? So basically, XRP and XLM are physically designed to reduce the friction within the banking system, right? So banks look at it like they can improve their margins, they can improve things, right? So, Ripple, the morality of it is Ripple wants to be living in a decentralized system where the central banks want the CBDC, they want centralized, right? So then you have the SEC coming after them, suing them, right? Which probably is maybe pay to play, right? So if XRP Ripple is to assume a big major financial system role, then they need to prove themselves worthy, right? Just like a gladiator has to prove himself worthy as a gladiator. I'm actually watching, this is such a good series. It's called Spartacus on Stars. You gotta watch it. It's so good. It's really good. Awesome series. And another one is called Warrior on Netflix. I think Spartacus, I'm watching it on Amazon Prime, but it's through Stars or something. It's really good. But anyway, I digress. So, the outlook of cross-border payments, currently the payments are dominated by correspondent banking, right? Yeah, so that's who owns it, is the banks. They own this crap, and it's characterized by slow, costly, non-transparent. In this new digital age, consumers want, they want faster things, right? And, it says here, the corporates and individuals more and more expect cross-borders to be fast, frictionless, and affordable, at least as much as domestic payments are becoming everywhere. But while there have been many attempts to improve cross-border systems, some of the core challenges in correspondent banking remain unresolved. Why? Because we don't have those crypto regulations and we don't have things implemented. Because a lot of these banks don't want things to change. They don't mind spending the extra money. They don't mind that it's slow. As long as they're in control, that's all that matters. But that's the thing. That's why the financial system's going to come to a head. Look, I'm not holding XRP just to sell it at $10 and walk away. Of course, I will do that big time. But a main part of it is to hold it for my kids, for my grandkids, right? I believe this to be a suitable long-term investment, right? So, I'm not so, like most people invest in crypto, it has to moon today, it has to moon tomorrow, it has to go now. No, it doesn't have to, right? If you are trading and you want these big pumps and volatility, yeah, I get it. That's where you want to be in some of these meme coins, right? But if you want long-term sustainable growth for the price to go up and up and up, then what do you need? You need a foundation. Think about a pyramid, right? It's a foundation. Think about the bottom of the foundation. It's the biggest foundation, right? Or think about a building, right? When you build a skyscraper or just a simple house, you need a concrete, solid foundation to offer sustainability. What has the biggest foundation in crypto history? XRP. Look at this base. Look at the base. People don't like XRP. It doesn't do anything, but that's good. It's building. It's like, like for example, Donald Trump is a real estate investor and he paid millions of dollars to have a building built. And then he comes up a week later, he goes, why isn't the building built? Well, because we're building the foundation. He knows that, right? You got to build the foundation. And the bigger the foundation, the bigger the base, the higher in space, because when this thing blows to the upside, it has all of this support. Think of this like a concrete foundation of pure support, right? So as the years and decades go, right, whatever the price does, you have this major concrete foundation down here, bigger than any coin on the planet. Remember that. XRP has the biggest base in crypto history, right? So as the price continues flying to the upside, that's not the part, right? The part is when we come back down. When we come back down, look what's supporting the price. All of this, right? So now you have this massive foundation down here, and as the price comes up, whenever that may be, might take more time. I don't know. I think it's getting close. But look at this. When we come back down, it's going to hold the price more than likely. Why? Because it has all of this support. So going beneath this support, right? Going beneath, what's the low here? 32 cents. 32 cents. It'll once we break out of the all-time high, it'll never go below 30 cents ever again, in my opinion, because you have so much volume profile. You have so much support there that when the price goes up, comes back down to backtest, the likelihood of backtesting it and holding it, you're making this previous, look at this resistance, super, super strong. But when you break out, now you make it support, which is going to be the strongest support to me in crypto history, right? Because if you look at something like Bitcoin, and I'm not knocking Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's going to go forever. But if you look at the base, right? XRP's base is this big. Bitcoin's base is this big, right? Now it has this. So it's like stepping stones, and that's fine, but XRP is one big base. So it's overdue for this, and I believe that's coming soon. Same thing with XLM. This is all reaccumulation. Here's your retracement high. Here's your bear market low. The price is in the middle of the retracement and the bear market low, and it's going sideways in the middle above all of this. So here's your base, here's your breakout, here's your second base. Most likely will break out, right? And creating another base on top. So we'll see how about that. But anyway, going back to the document real quick. I mean, people need frictionless, they need quick things. They need it to be open source, decentralized, fast, quick, secure, right? I mean, it says large corporations and fintech, companies operating on, and by the way, who's the number one fintech company in the United States? It's Ripple, operating on a global scale, entering the payment space. Payments are the biggest things, right? It's not memes and NFTs, and it's going to be big, right? But not nearly as big as payments. Payments is the number one money entity, right? That's what it's all about. Payments are everywhere. The global scale entering the payment space are able to address a number of these frictions through their reach in various jurisdictions. These firms are able to timely and transparently facilitate cross-border payments by simply engaging and transferring price activities between their operations across jurisdictions. In doing so, they also potentially benefit from tax arbitrage. SWIFT has launched and actively expanding the core functionality of its SWIFT GPI platform. So to facilitate the instant and always on transmission of payments across borders. In addition to these initiatives, there have been an expansion of DLT-based payment protocols that appear to be yielding promising results. As these protocols gain ground, right, proliferation of digital currencies might take place to the mid to long term, whether it's going to be CBDCs such as the Envision under project, yada yada yada, or a private label currency like Ripple or Stella, it says Stella or Stellar, or perhaps a consortium of commercial banks that emerge with their digital currency like USC, JPM Coin. I don't think so. I think it'll be Ripple. Although, it continues on, DLT payment protocols on the internet layer payment surface remains nascent and unlikely to replace correspondent banking infrastructure on a large scale in the short term, right? So, the banks are going to be the banks. It's all about the infrastructure and the payment rails and everything underneath the skin, right? It's unlikely to replace correspondent banking infrastructure, but on a large scale in the short term, it's low cost, transparency, and real time. I think eventually it will start to replace a lot of the guts inside the banks. Processing speed to encourage signs to the sector and their role in the future of cross-border payments. For sure, competition is on the rise, and it will continue to strengthen, putting pressure on the incumbents. The emerging DLT-based payment protocols like Ripple are competing in the wholesale and retail payments. Who is the number one? Ripple, right? And have potential to erode established clearing and settlement services provided by central banks and institutions. So, I think that's the end of it here. So here's your end notes. I'm not going to get into all of that, but anyway, and they even talk about distributed ledger technologies. DLT, right, is a tool of recording ownership. To me, the number one distributed ledger, right? I mean, you could say Bitcoin, but for what its purpose is in payments and banks, it's Ripple. The database of transaction that's spread across a network and many computers rather than stored in a central location. It goes on and on and on. ATMs, things like that. And yeah, I'm sorry the video's long, but I want to wrap it up. But you know, it's a lot of information. But look at this. This is a picture. Brad Garlinghouse is on the right over here. And then you have the Chief Executive Hong Kong Monetary Authority right there next to him. Then you have the Chairman of Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. And then you have the Director of the IMF. And they're sitting right next to the CEO of Ripple, which is the native token XRP. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, that in itself right there would just make me go buy XRP. Boom. You know, people go, oh, well, the price doesn't do anything. Why, you know, but you got to understand, things are being set into motion. It's getting ready, right? It might take time, but that's, you know, you want to be positioned before that time comes. So look at this. Look at that picture, right? Do you see the CEO of, you know, all these other blockchain companies sitting next to the Hong Kong, the Chief Executive Hong Kong Monetary Authority? Tell me which blockchain company got to sit next to the Chief Executive Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the IMF and the Chairman of Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. These are high level banking executives. These are the big boys. These are the big dogs right here. And you have Brad Garlinghouse sitting right next to them, all together with the IMF. I mean, come on. That's huge. And you can say, well, that doesn't mean anything. I think it means a lot. I think that speaks volumes, because if Ripple and XRP was a crap company, a crap coin, it's nothing, then why the hell would these people give them the time and day? Right? These banking authorities, these monetary guys are very careful of who they are being seen with, right? They're very meticulous of who they do business and dealings and talking about. I mean, they're all on stage with each other. They're all sitting around the table, right? So you know they had to do their research. And looking at that World Bank document, that validates the hell out of Ripple. So people ask, why you like Ripple? Well, come on, how many reasons you need? I talk about price all the time, but I don't talk about this, but now I'm going to, because I think we're getting closer. So there's the picture. And here's the video. Brad Garlinghouse, 9th high-level conference of the International Monetary Policy. This is big stuff, guys. I mean, look at this. You know, so here's the video if you want to watch the video.
And as was introduced, I think they saved me for last so that I could talk about the private sector version of this.
Yeah, they saved the best for last, huh?
The basics of what Ripple is and what Ripple is not. Ripple is a private company. We're based in California, about globally. And even in a world of CBDCs, you still need interoperability to solve that problem.
Exactly. So, you know, the central bank, look at, basically the central banks have a plan and they want to put this plan into motion, but they need help. And Ripple solves that interoperability problem, as well as reducing friction, as well as being a neutral bridge, as well as other things like derivatives, FX market.
Also, before I dive in, you know, my comments are more focused on kind of explaining how Ripple's approaching this problem as opposed to just CBDCs. But I thought it worth spending a moment on how we think about I think many industries, whether it's payments, correspondent banking, currently operates. There's a 6% error rate self-published that these new technologies.
Anyway, you can go and watch this video for yourself. But look at this. I mean, he's talking about real stuff in front of big players. So yeah, it's just a conference, but I mean, why not choose somebody else? How come Anthony Pompliano isn't talking about this with these high level people? Right? Fox Business, CNN, all the fake news, they bring him on. Oh, look at Bitcoin, it's up today. Bitcoin's not going anywhere, right? Blah, 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 blah. But they don't, you know, and I get it. I agree. Bitcoin is the big dog and it will remain so. But how much more investor percentage potential is there left in Bitcoin? If Bitcoin goes to 250K, that's not even that's not that much percentage compared to if Ripple were to just break out of an all-time high. So, there's a lot of in this video. It's about a 10-minute video, and look at this one right here.
Rather slow and rather expensive. XRP is very, very fast, about 1,000 times faster per transaction and 1,000 times cheaper per transaction.
I mean, look at this. He's talking about XRP, how bad it is, how cool it is, right? In front of these big level people, and look at XRP's right in the middle. There's the yen, the USD, right, the euro. He's basically explaining, what could be, right? That doesn't mean they're going to go for it, but it makes you wonder, right?
Transaction.
And even if they don't go for it, at least Ripple can get a small percentage of the business of all of these payments and things like that. And that would put them over a $5 trillion, even if it's just 1% of all of the derivatives and everything like that. It would put them at a major threshold of market cap. So
the other dynamic, of course, of correspondent banking is some of the more quote-unquote exotic currencies, exotic corridors have been left to kind of stand on their own. And the liquidity in digital assets could be applied to actually make that much more democratized and a level playing field. Ripple's vision from the beginning really has been to apply these technologies in the same way that TCP/IP and HTTP are the technologies, in fact, for the companies that enable that, allows corporates to do real-time payouts into this network we call RippleNet. The challenge here, as many of you may know, is there's corporations ranging from Uber to Amazon to,
these are the adults. This is not the children who, like the Bitcoin maxis who are, have you ever watched Max Kaiser? He's so unprofessional. He's a clown. He's not all there. They would never have him there. These are the big professional adults that make the real world decisions. This is an adult investment. This is not a little child meme coin. This is a real world utility. This is the future, right? So that's why it's so important. And that's why the narrative is so bad against XRP and Ripple, because they're like they're like the adults. It's like this. Like imagine, in school, right? A kid has a t-shirt, right? Let's say it's a band, right? Let's say it's a certain band, right? And everybody's got this shirt. It's cool, right? But then the next day, mom and dad come to the school with that shirt on. Now it's no longer cool anymore. Now the kids don't want nothing to do with it because now mom and dad have it on, right? It's no longer cool, right? The kid says, hey, mom, or hey, dad, what shirt do you like better? This one or this? Which one's more cool? The dad says, I like that shirt. And the kid puts the opposite shirt on because he knows he doesn't want to be, you see what I mean? And that's kind of how the narrative is shaped. It's all deep state. So we'll see. We'll see how this forms. I'm just putting things out there. This is an hour and a half now, and it's barely even scratching the surface of the fundamentals and the utility. I mean, there's so many other things, right? Especially that 2-minute video clip that talked about a lot of different things that I can get into.
More less technically efficient companies, they employ hundreds of engineers that just integrate into payment.
So anyway, that's that video. I can put it in the link description below. So check this out. This I don't remember who this guy is, but he's a part of the IMF, right? I'm not sure. And he's on stage with Brad Garlinghouse. I'm sure you've seen this clip before, right? And he basically asked him this.
Can you see those? Oh, there's 2 votes.
Let me try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things.
Ladies and gentlemen, Can you read the room? You see what's going on here? They can't really talk about it. There are things have been set into motion years ago, years and years ago, right? Things take time to develop. This is Brad Garlinghouse on stage at the FinTech Festival, right, in Singapore with the IMF. I mean, just the other video you saw other, but that's just a little bit. There's other big people like Davos, right, in the World Economic Forum, where Brad Garlinghouse, amazing CEO, professional businessman, talking about solutions into the banking system, right? So, he knows the IMF will eventually hold crypto assets in the future, right? And what do you think the big one is? It's XRP. So keep listening.
I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe
the
I
IMF.
should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that.
Brad Garlinghouse already knows what the IMF is going to do. He's like, let me answer it. He's kind of playing funny. You can read the room, right? He's kind of being like, let me answer it. He goes, I already know, because they already know. They already did the deal. This is how I think it went down, potentially. This is speculation. They went up to Brad Garlinghouse. They said, hey, let's do this, right? We like Ripple, we like XRP, let's do something here, right? So they say, okay, in order to do this is going to take years. It's going to take years. And you go, why? Well, because we need regulation. Well, how do we get regulation? Well, you need to be sued. Well, I don't want to be sued. Well, yeah, you need to get sued. Why do I want to get sued? Because it's going to vet you. The SEC is going to look at your business. If you want to pay, if you want to play, you got to pay to play, right? So the SEC sued Ripple, and they ended up spending $250 million nearly to defend themselves against the corruption at the SEC. But in reality, it was all sort of this this coup d'etat, if you will. They're just playing it up, right? And then that's how they get things into motion, right? So I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But it's interesting because I think this was back in 2016, and then Ripple got sued in 4 years later, I believe. So was this 2016? I don't remember. But anyways, we can potentially see what everybody is saying, what people are doing. So I don't know. It's quite interesting. All these things are happening, and they've been happening, and kind of people disregard it because it happened a couple years ago. But that doesn't matter, right? I mean, look at Tesla. They said they were going to build a Tesla Cybertruck, and it took forever, right? But now it's here, and now everybody can admit that a lot of people didn't believe it was going to happen, right? Because it got delayed. But listen to this clip.
Not even specific to Ripple or to XRP's community. I think one of the things that will surprise us a year from now is that banks will be custodying digital assets directly. And I think right now we think about that and think, look, there's no way that's going to happen. They're too conservative. And I think what you're seeing is, two things happening. One is banks are seeing that a lot of money is being made by digital asset exchanges globally, and banks are profit motivated. The second, and as we talked about it very Ross has made very clear, is regulatory clarity and regulatory frameworks enable banks and financial institutions to lean into these markets. And I think we will surprise ourselves by this time, but I'll also predict that it will be banks in the ASEAN markets where there is this regulatory clarity and there is a lot of progressive forward thinking. They'll be the first to actually allow for crypto assets custody in their accounts. All right, with that, we will turn it over to questions. And I see a bunch of questions on the screen, which I can't really read from here, but we're supposed to pick some. Can you see those? Oh, there's 2 votes.
We try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency.
And not even specific to Ripple or to XRP's community.
Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed that little presentation. You know, wild, outlandish, unbelievable. I can't believe he just said that. Speculation. Interesting. For me, when I look at a coin, I look at the chart, I look at the utility value, and then I look at all the bonuses. XRP has the best looking chart from a percentage potential, right? It didn't go on an all-time high the last bull run, but that makes it even better because, it's establishing a bigger range for a bigger breakout. And then another thing I look at is the utility. XRP has the ultimate utility. And then I look at a bonus, which is XRP has a company named Ripple who lays the groundwork for what's to come. Cross-border payments, the potential FX market, the derivatives. The derivatives would be very big. And then other things too. And then on top of that, you see this company named Ripple, right? By the way, Ashton Kutcher, the actor, he invested in Ripple. And he's a techie guy, right? And then he was on the same thing with, I can't remember that other guy's name. But anyway, to the point, you have this Brad Garlinghouse guy. He's sitting next to the director of the IMF. He's sitting next to chairman of Saudi Arabian Monetary. And these are just some guys, right? And then you have, look at here. I didn't even look at her. That's Christine Lagarde. She's the head of the ECB, right? European Central Bank. So you have all these big high-level people sitting in the same room. And that's just one instance. And then you have the World Bank document talking about XRP as a neutral asset, as a cross-border remittance, right? For payments, reducing the friction in the banking system. Then you have Brad Garlinghouse sitting on stage with an IMF from the legal department talking about, will the IMF ever hold crypto assets in the future? And Brad Garlinghouse looks at him with a smirk. He knows. He already knows. Brad Garlinghouse knows things he can't really say, right? A lot of the juicy stuff is not disclosed yet. Why? Because they don't want to disclose partnerships yet. The big partnerships. And think about all the partnerships Ripple already has. And you can say, yeah, well, they have all these partnerships, yet the price doesn't do anything. That's a fair assessment. But my response to that is, just wait. Just wait. It could be possible that they want to keep the price down to accumulate as much as they can before this thing rips, right? And remember, Ripple also has ammunition. The lawsuit should be finishing up sometime this year. What will happen when that happens? We saw the big fat spike that XRP is not a security from Judge Torres. That led to a major spike, right? But it wasn't sustained because it was during summer, number one, and number two, Bitcoin wasn't ready. But now we have Bitcoin towards the all-time high. What do you think? And then also we have, looking at from the price perspective, the video I put out this morning, you have a range. We broke out of the range. Now we have another range building on top of it. People say, oh, that price doesn't do anything, but it is doing something. The price is doing more than you can possibly imagine. Ripple XRP, wells accumulate. How high can it go, right? Didn't mean to push that. So, when people say the price doesn't do anything, it's acting like a stable coin. Essentially, we are in a big, huge range, like I've been saying, right? And then, we have the bull cycle, we have the bear cycle, we have the retracement, we have back down to make a higher low, and now we have reaccumulation. This is all reaccumulation. So when people say the price doesn't do anything, well, how come it's not doing it? Because it had to print this here, right? From people, Brad Garlinghouse sitting next to all these high-level people, yet the price doesn't do anything. It had to print those candles. It had to build structure in the price, just like how it had to build structure here. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. What happens next? potentially, not financial advice, a blast off, right? So you could see building a base, you break out, you build another base. And then look at this. The last several weeks, we've been intertwining around the bull market support band. To me, it looks like a nice cup and handle here. And look at all those candles above the bull market support band, holding nice and strong above it. Look at the last time it did that. Look at all these weekly candles. Look at this. You have a price come up, back down, all on the bull market support band. Bam! Led to a big explosion. Right? And that's exactly what's maybe happening here. We have these candles here. Maybe we go sideways for a few more weeks. We'll see. But going back to Ripple, the company, they have ammunition, the lawsuit, right? So when this lawsuit ends, first of all, Judge Torres ruled XRP is not a security, right? Then we get the settlement. Then it's over. We're in the clear, right? And then what else happens? We also have Ripple IPO. When the lawsuit is over, this is another ammunition, right? Ripple is planning on going public, right? So initial price offering. It's going to be a publicly traded stock. So that's going to be huge. That's going to give more validation, right? And then what else we have coming? A new administration. What else do we have coming? We have regulations coming, right? And then what else? We have the central banks trying to take over the world through their CBDC, but they'll fail, right? There's going to be some middle ground here. And I think XRP and a decentralized ledger could be a major solution to keep the banks accountable and in check and not totally tyrannical, right? So this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, right? So, when you buy XRP, if you buy it, you need to buy it with the intention of holding it for the next 10, 20 years, right? Obviously, you can take profit, buy low, right? Buy low, sell high, whatever, take profit. But the majority should be hodling through until we get to the promised land, right? But the thing about investing is there is no promise, right? Anything can happen. Anything. But the fact that all the stuff we just witnessed, and if you skipped a lot of the video, please go watch what I had to say. I wasn't planning on doing this, and I don't have notes and things like that. I just go based off what I am thinking in my head, whatever comes next. But anyway, go back. If you haven't seen the video, if you skipped ahead, go back and watch everything I'm talking about in regards to, who Brad Garlinghouse surrounds themselves. It's like if you surround yourself with 3 drug addicts, you're going to be the 4th one. If you surround yourself with high-level banking officials, you're going to be the next one, right? And then also, Ripple, I believe, is going to apply to be a banking charter. Ripple eventually will be a bank. They will be a bank, right? They don't like what's happening in San Francisco, California. They've threatened to leave the United States because of how bad it is. That makes me believe they're a good guy. If they were a deep state bad guy, then the deep state would play favoritism. They would allow them to do their things, but they're being real hardcore on Ripple, right? Which leads me to believe they're patriots, and the Patriots will win next election. And when that happens, we're going to see some beautiful things, in my opinion. But this year, we have the potential to break out of here. Now, I've went on the record saying that my prediction. I don't do predictions, but I hate doing that. Price is okay, but time is very hard. When moon. That's the biggest question. I don't know, but I came out and I said we could break this range in April or May. So I'm going to expand it out to the last day of May, right there. So that's how much time we have left, or my prediction will be wrong. And I'll look like a terrible fool. I mean, it's what it is. What it is. If it doesn't break out in April or May, it's not a big deal. But I think it has a very good potential of doing that. You can see how long this one took here, and usually the second one takes less time. So let's see here. I hate that the video is this long, but only the most dedicated investor will watch it through. 392 days thereabout, and this one is currently 259 days. But that's okay, because when you look at Bitcoin, right, in the video I did before, look at this. We have a range here, right, and then it broke out there, and then this new range broke out here. So so it had, two different ranges, right? Same thing with XRP. So how long did the first range take? Roughly about 294 days. Okay, that kind of lines up there. And then the second range, I'm going to start it from here, and until we broke out, about 189 days. So it's significantly less time, right? So there you go. And if you take that ratio, I'm not going to do all the math, but if you take that ratio, it's kind of about the same. So, and then a lot of it also depends on Bitcoin, right? We have 2 days left for the weekly candle to close, and we want it to close above this wick here. But then we also have the monthly candle. Let's go to the monthly chart here. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin is about to have the highest monthly close it's ever had in its entire life. Look at this. The highest monthly close in Bitcoin's history was the previous bull run. Okay? It was the previous bull run. So we didn't get the monthly close. But now, look at the price. Look at the price. We got a monthly close. Now, sometimes, when that happens, you get that breakout. A lot of times it likes to retest 50% of this candle before continuing higher, right? So I'm not worried about it. I'm a long-term investor. Either way, it's okay. We got to have patience. We have the bull market support band down here. We got some time. Ripple's looking good. Here's the monthly chart of XRP. Now look at this. The XRP monthly chart is going to have a break above this level here. So we haven't had a monthly high this high since going back last July. And that's no lie. And soon XRP will see the sky. That is so terrible. Stop it. Okay. That's what happens when you talk forever. You start getting a little delirious. But anyways, I will end it there. If you skipped along the video, please watch the whole I know it's long, but if you're an investor and you're putting your money to work, you want to be confident. You want to know that it's going to be in the right place, right? And you never can know 100% for sure. But hopefully this presentation is well received, and I would incredibly appreciate. I've never done this type of fundamental background story check. I mean, I leave it to other YouTube guys, but I decided I'm going to do it myself and to give my 2 cents on it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and if you could, it would be amazing if you can share the video. That always helps. So if you're on Facebook or Twitter, it would be an amazing thing if you can share this video. And then also the video I put out earlier this morning, the analysis portion was also really good. So I think these 2 XRP videos that I did today, I might upload it tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I think it's a keeper, that's for sure. But anyway, it's all about this here. This is really interesting. So go and screenshot it and share it with everybody and ask, what do you think about this? But anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. It would be an amazing thing if you can hit that like button. It'd really help a channel like mine. I really want to get above 2,000 subscribers. Maybe I'm already there. I haven't checked. Yeah, if I do, my next goal obviously would be 2,500. That would be, I really started doing videos in October of last year, and I didn't think it would grow this quickly. I didn't realize how beautiful and powerful the crypto community can be, especially XRP and Theta, really helping me gain some traction here. Because for me, it's not about views and likes and comments, and yeah, it's great and I appreciate that. But for me, when I see more views, I see more people getting access to the information that I'm providing, because I don't get paid really for YouTube. I mean, I can show you my analytics. I've been doing YouTube since October, and I put it out tons of videos, over an hour long on most videos, every day almost, and I've only gotten about $100 from YouTube. Really not much at all. Definitely not. It doesn't even compare to the amount of work that I put into these videos. That's why I do always bring this up. If you want to support the channel, I do have a YouTube tip jar, and if you're using your phone, just scan it with this here, right? The Google bar, the Google Lens. So just take a screenshot of it on your phone and then go to Google Lens, and you can scan it on your phone. And then you can leave a tip if you want, and you can support my work. It's always very appreciative. But also, sharing the video also helps tremendously. Because again, like I said, it's not really the views, the likes, and things like that. It's getting the information out to people that I can't touch, right? Maybe them. Maybe you can share it and have another audience, another pool of people, right? Because for me, I want people to have access to good, opinionated sources. And, the more people can figure out this crypto sort of revolution, the more people can benefit from it. Because for me, it's all about paying it forward and helping people. And I can't do that if I don't have enough people who watch it. Because a lot of people are loyal too. You guys, the people listening now, you guys get it. You guys understand it, right? But I'm trying to reach the people who haven't even opened the door of what XRP is and the potential, right? And if we want to grow our community through the asset, we need to reach as many people as possible. And the best way to do that is to, you have a voice. Your voice is just as powerful as anybody else's. Everybody who has a smartphone has the ability to expand the word. And maybe you don't like what I had to say. Maybe you don't like the words, right? And that's why I encourage to, make your own YouTube channel, and maybe you have different opinions. I would love to hear what you had to say, because I'm an open book. I always like to hear opposing views, or even views that align with mine with a different spin. But either way you look at it, we're all on the same team, right? We're all in the same side, right? It's the politicians, the central banks, versus we the people And then inside We the People, you have crypto and our community. It doesn't matter if you're XRP community or Bitcoin. We all want to be a part of crypto, and we all are one big crypto family that has one goal, and that's being able to have freedom with our own money and be outside of that banking system and, you know, benefit from its success in the process, right? And changing people's lives. So anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. I'm almost at 2 hours long. I don't know, maybe that might be a record here. Maybe I'll cut it in 2 different parts. We'll see. But anyways, that'll do it for this video. I will catch you guys on the next one. And remember, drop a comment if you want me to look at a coin. Drop a comment and I'll do it on the next rapid fire. And then also drop a comment if you know, have any questions about what I said or any of the information, or just drop in and say hi. That's always appreciative. All right, guys, take care. See you in the next one. Cheers.